Look at the successful people around you. What are they doing that's been specific? What's been the simple tasks or simple things that they're doing to get to that next level? So I'm going to talk towards the newer agent right now. And then those that are top producers, I just want you to take note and make sure that you are on track and doing the right specific things that need to be done to make this a nice structured business. Let's break it down. And I'll tell you, when I say the word sphere of influence, SOI, or COI, circle of influence, there have been people that have closed hundreds, if not thousands of transactions and yet still don't quite get the term or understand the difference that it is a structured word. The structured word of SOI, sphere of influence or circle of influence, it actually has to do with two different potential people, groups of people. You have your watered down SOI and your non-watered down SOI. Watered down versus non-watered down. A watered down SOI is someone that, it's just all these people. You have friends on Facebook, they think, oh, we're friends because we're friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social platform there is out there. Or maybe you have a group that you hang out with, but you don't quite know everyone's names. But you know their faces, but you just don't know their names. Or maybe you haven't had a close relationship with them. So that's a watered down SOI, okay? Now, a non-watered down SOI requires two components. Years ago, people would say one component. They just need to know you by name. But no, it truly needs two components. Two components is, you know them by name, they know you by name. So if I've never met a person before and I happen to do some door knocking tomorrow, I meet a person face to face, I get their contact information, they know my name, and I know their name, guess what? You just added somebody to your SOI. It's that simple. This is a business of touches. This is a business of relationships. And I'll tell you that you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on lead generation online. You can spend all this money you want in the world, okay? But if you don't have that number one most important component that a non-watered down SOI needs and requires, you will have a business of a roller coaster. Not a business by design, not a business where you designed it and made it unbreakable, but a business that constantly goes up and down. Typically, people that spend a ton of money on Facebook retargeting leads, Zillow leads, Homes.com leads, you name it, Redfin leads, just keep going on and on. You're paying all these different lead sources to get these leads. You're simply sitting there trying to capture those without relationships. And it's a much harder business. Can it be done? Yes, but it usually typically is that roller coaster. It's a tough life. And guess what? Those leads are here today. They could be gone tomorrow. I repeat, they're here today. They could be gone tomorrow. How can they be gone tomorrow? The internet could crash. Oh goodness, Y2K just came back, didn't it? No, that very rare chance that that's going to happen long term. But when the market swings, okay, when the market swings to a more difficult market where you actually have to work, those online leads typically go away. It's one of the first things that goes away. It's the clickers. People aren't clicking as much. So when you've got these people you're dealing with that are online clickers, you might still be getting an occasional click, might still be happening, but usually it's a lot harder to get them on the phone. It's a lot harder to get that relationship there because you don't know them, they don't know you. And the fact that they don't know you as far as they can throw you kind of makes it a bit harder to create that relationship. But your sphere of influence, your people, these are your friends, your family, your extended family, your high school friends, your wife or spouse or husband's friends. Those are friends of friends of friends of friends of friends of friends, and it's endless, absolutely endless. And guess what? Your business is also endless. It's crazy endless. That is the importance of your sphere of influence. That's how extremely important it is. And that's why the top producers out there that we coach with consistently focus on sphere of influence. It's the number one driving lead source in their business. So many people will actually put a sign on their door that says, "Don't bother me, I'm working right now. I'm working on my 20%. I'm working on my big rocks. I'm working on the things that I need to be doing on a daily basis that's going to bring me food on the table in the next upcoming years." And I'm going to show you quickly how simple your job is. And if you stick to it, if you stick to your big rocks and you live a life by design, you design your life. You design your business. You got into this real estate business for one of two reasons. You either love showing houses or you love relationships. And the difference between the two is extraordinary. It's a huge gap. If you just love showing houses, great, good luck. How are you going to get there? Now that you got your license, how are you going to get there? Now that you've worked so hard, got through the testing, how are you going to get there? Well, now it's time to build a business by design, a business you design. And in order to do that, you have to create your time card. So I call the calendar, and I'm going to tell you right now, I highly suggest, there's so many different calendars out there. You can use the calendars they give out from title companies that are branded with the title companies. Use it if it works for you. You can use a calendar that you get that hangs on the side of the wall. You can use a calendar book. You can use Apple Calendar, Google Calendar, Yahoo Calendar. You can use whatever calendar you want. It doesn't matter. Just use it and make that your time card. All right. When you were working before, who did you work for? Or if you just got out of high school, you may not have worked yet. But hopefully you've worked a job. You've most likely worked for somebody. I call it working for the man, right? You're working for the man or woman. Doesn't matter. We're not sexist here. We're either working for the man or working for the woman. We're working for somebody and they're paying us. They have a time card that we're clocking in and out. Or if there's salary, they know exactly how much you get paid, but you're required to work a certain amount of hours. Okay, so if you're working your hours and you're doing your hours, you're clocking in and out and you're expected to do tasks. Okay, it's been called tasks, it's been called activities, it's been called lead measures, it's been called so many different things. There's so many different ways to call it, but there's specific daily tasks or big rocks. If you don't know what big rocks are, small rocks, or big rocks in the sand, I highly suggest researching Stephen Covey. The creator of we'll say the creator, he came out with the big rocks years ago. I want to say back in the 80s, something like that. There you can find some really cool videos online about it, where he talks about focusing on the big rocks. And you have those big rocks that are most important. Those are your 20%. 20% is going to bring 80% of your business, right? That concept has also been used for many, many years and actually didn't come from 20% of the 80% of the business. Okay. Research it. It came from actually something else where they said 20% of the specific people owned homes or owned land within a certain community, and 20% owned them all. And that transitioned over to business, which now talks about 20%. Working on your 20% will help you to get 80% of your business. It's been one of the most highly used things that it's been used since that came out. So I highly suggest that you look up the Stephen Covey video on the big rocks in the sand, where he tries to put all the sand in the jar first. It fills up to a certain level, and then try to fit your big rocks on top of that. Good luck getting them all in the jar. But if you put all the big rocks in the jar first and then you pour the sand on top, the sand will go around your big rocks and it'll all fit in the jar. You can actually fit everything in your life. That's the thought behind it. So focus on those big rocks first. Get them in the jar first. So what we teach, or what's highly recommended to do, is focus on those big rocks in the morning. You heard the concept before, I'm sure, called Eat the Frog. And what that means is you got to do the tasks. You got to eat that frog in the morning. You got to do those tasks in the morning that you really don't want to do. But with long-term longevity, if you do them long enough, they will bring success. Now, even in a rough market, they'll bring success. The problem is there's this rule. It's about 33% of agents will quit the business in the first year. I believe it's 87% will quit in the preceding 3 years. Why? Because they realize that, this business is actually really hard. Okay. But it's not that hard if you're driven, task-based, structuring your business correctly. like a time card, using a clock like a time card to make yourself work each day. The thing is that with real estate, it's a business. So if you work, it might take 2 months before you get something going. It might take a week. It just takes the right phone calls to make. Someone out there is wanting to buy a house that knows you by name. Someone out there is wanting to list a house that knows you by name. We got to find them. So to eat that frog in the morning, or do those tough tasks in the morning, which is your phone calls, which is your lead generation, which is your lead measures, which is your activities, which is your tasks. You got to get your work done early. So this is your true job. Let's just envision that everything in green on this calendar is your actual job. Okay, social media marketing, 10-10-5. Structuring it in a way, and you'll see this on preceding videos on what the A&W is, what the 10-10-5 is, but let's just call it right now social media marketing. Your social media is no longer a social site. It's a business platform that is your platform of your sphere of influence. And we've got to treat it that way with daily tasks to work it. And I'll teach you those tasks later if you don't already know them. You also want to make sure you're making your sphere of influence, remember, non-watered down sphere of influence calls each day. Now, you might ask, when is the right time to call your watered down calls? Well, that's also important. It's not as important as your non-watered down calls. But the watered down calls is how you feed the machine. It's how you add more names to your database. Now we're going to talk about database for a quick second. All right, so database, it doesn't matter what database you use. And I'll stop this share for a second. It doesn't matter what database you use. What matters most importantly is that you use it. And they call these CRMs, customer relation management systems. And back in the day, we would use files. All right, so we'd have files in a filing cabinet, and whoever I'm calling today, I would be in the front of the filing cabinet. We'd pull those out, and those would be our calls we'd make today. The first 10 to 20 files are the ones I need to call today. Then if I got any referrals off of any of those, because that's another name for your database system, is your referral database system. If I got any referrals off any of those, I would create a new file with a new name, new contact. We had these sheets, we called them lead sheets. And these are the leads we got from this phone call I made. Okay, so lead sheets. I'd create a new file, and that file I would take that first call I made. I would make notes in there what I did, and I'd place it back in there in a date order. So the date might be January through December, and say today I'm making my calls in February. Then I'm going to need to make calls 6 months later. All right, that's 2 phone calls minimum per year, unless they say they're ready to buy sooner, or unless they know somebody that's going to buy sooner. Then I need to get their contact info. I'm going to have to make a call back. I'm going to take those and I'm going to place it in the date on where it belongs, okay, in the filing cabinet. And so if today is February and I know I need to call this person back within a month, I'm going to place it into the February-March section. If I made my call, I didn't get any referrals off it, I didn't get any, they're not ready to buy or sell for maybe 2 years, I'll place it 6 months later, okay? So every year, I'm at least calling these people twice a year. Just know, in between that 6 months, they may all of a sudden come across somebody. So I suggest actually calling them sooner, like maybe every 3 months or once a month. It's a nurture type of business where we're nurturing relationships. So we're going to move that in the filing cabinet, right? Nowadays, we're so blessed to have an awesome opportunity to have these systems called CRM systems that are digital based. There's Chime, there's Top Producer, there's Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Real Geeks, KV Core, you name it. There's so many different amazing systems out there. But guess what? Like the filing cabinet, it doesn't matter. Again, doesn't matter what system you use. You just need to use it. And those that use it will see the most success in their business. Those are the top producers use a really good CRM system. Now, how do we use it? Well, step one, brand new in the business, you set your timeline. You set your schedule to work. So these are the days I'm going to work. Now, who you're going to call, how many you're going to call, are going to be based on a very important first task you're going to do, which is creating a goal. And this is a viral goal. They call it something. There's SMART goals. There's one is you got to have a goal. Stephen Covey also came out with a really good book called 4 Disciplines of Execution. There's a whole training platform. You can actually travel. I believe it's Texas or Kansas, one of the two places. Don't quote me on that. But there's actually a place you can go where you travel and they'll train you on the 4 Disciplines of Execution. It's a great system. And what that does is it's 4 specific key disciplines that'll help you to execute your goals. Discipline number 1 is focusing on the wildly important. It's a wildly important goal or a big wig. So what is your wildly important goal? Usually brokerages and high producers and team leaders will focus on a dollar amount. I want to make specifically roughly this much per year, or a volume amount that I want to sell roughly 30 million, 60 million, 100 million, 200 million in volume sales per year. And if you figure that calculation out of what your average commission rate is that you make, then you'll know exactly approximately how much you're going to make per year. Those are high producers with teams and brokerages. All right. Now, if you're actually focusing on, you're brand new in the business, there's another way to do it that's a little simpler, and it's to focus on how many closings you want to do, right? Whether you're on a team or you're solo agent, it doesn't matter. They're both great options. Sometimes teams will actually drive you to do more because they push you and help you with a lot of this stuff. So what you do is you're creating a goal based on what you think you can do. Brand new in the business, I might choose to close 3 in the first year. I might choose to close 10. I think my first year in the business, I set a goal. I wanted to close, I think it was 10. It was 9 in 2009. That was my first year in the business, 2009. I was in real estate prior to that, but it was mainly investing. I did some, buy and sells. I did a little bit of buy and holds, and then eventually sold. But got my teeth wet in what it's like to be a realtor, and decided, 2009, I met my business partner, my mentor, my team leader, who was an amazing, amazing team leader named Kevin Blaine, who taught me so much beyond belief. I'm so blessed to have him as my mentor. He taught me about the big, wildly important goals, the big wigs, and the importance to pick a goal and go after it. So I set my first goal at 9 in 2009. I closed 6, so I didn't quite reach it, but I knew I can do it. So 10 in 2010, I closed 11. All right, so you got to have a driving force. So if I say I want to shoot to close 9, say I want to shoot to close 10, and we know that there's a ratio. So remember this ratio, roughly 7-to-1 ratio on your SOI. But I'm going to say, if you're brand new in the business, you're getting to know the scripts, you're getting more comfortable, getting uncomfortable. Again, getting uncomfortable. You're getting more comfortable with getting uncomfortable, because making these calls is a little bit uncomfortable, but that's okay. That's what you need every day. You need to get a little uncomfortable. Do something new, something different that's going to get you uncomfortable. All right. And what's your driving force? What's your real reason why you have your wig? Well, Simon Sinek came out with the why. Why are you in this business? Why do you want to do this? Where do you want to go? Another great book, great person to research, Simon Sinek. Amazing, amazing author, amazing teacher, instructor, speaker, public speaker, Simon Sinek. So look that name up too. The big why. Why do you want to do this? So if your big why is that you want to get started in your band and get your band going, and this is the way to make a lot of money to get your band started, probably not the best big why. I've heard it before. The other big why that I love to hear every time is family. I really want my kids to see that I can do this, that I can get it done. I want my kids to see, if you work hard, this is what happens. Those are important big whys, very important big whys. All right. So now that you have your big why, and you know why you want to do this, why you got in the business, and why you're even here today in this class, now you know that's your driving force. All right. So a brand new agent with very little experience, typically you got to figure it's going to be more like maybe a 10-to-1 or even a 15-to-1 ratio. For every 15 people you call, you're going to get so uncomfortable that you're going to start becoming comfortable, and you're actually going to get you're going to say a few things, have some good conversations with your people. These are your people. Don't be afraid to call your people and tell them you're a realtor. Fail if you do. They're your people, guys. They're your people. Call them. Talk to them. Create relationships with them. Okay? These are your people. So the more you get uncomfortable the more you get comfortable to do the uncomfortable, the more these conversations are going to get better. And then we can tighten that SOI up to about a 7-to-1 ratio. But let's just say 10-to-1 ratio. So I've got to at least call 20 people a day to potentially get one lead. Okay, one lead. There's going to be times you're going to get 2 or 3 out of it. So my suggestion is shoot to call 20 people a day. Okay, now what is a contact? Okay, a contact consists of a back-to-back two-way conversation about real estate, about buying, about the interest rates, about their home. That is how we justify a contact. If you send out 300 emails and you only get 10 people respond to your email, you only get to count 10. And if those conversations were about real estate. Okay, so as you're calling your SOI, as you're getting more uncomfortable making these calls and getting more comfortable with your calls, you're going to tighten that up. So as we're shooting a 20 a day, all right, where are you getting these people? Well, guess what? They're your people. You can get it from your church directory. You can get it from your kid's school directory. You can get it even easier from your own family. All right, family trees. Guess what? If every one of you were to take your cell phone and you were to go to your contacts and search roughly how many contacts you have in your system, there's a really amazing thing you might just find out. Okay, so if I click this button and I take a look, it shows me that I have over 4,500 to be exact people in my contacts. Do you think I should be able to possibly make 20 calls a day? And again, I am a real estate coach, I'm a real estate broker, I'm a team leader, and I'm a realtor. I do all those hats. So sometimes I'm calling agents for our brokerage, letting them know about our brokerage and why they should come join our brokerage. Sometimes I'm calling buyers and sellers. Sometimes I'm calling the agents on our team. But I have people to call. And those are lead measures for me. For a brand new agent, you have a simple group of people to call. That's your people. That's your friends, your family, all those people I named earlier. So plenty of people to call, your non-watered down SOI. All right, so you should have a few different goals. One is I'm going to call roughly 10 people a day. But guess what? I'm going to call an additional 5 that I don't know. Ooh, little twist. Because one is I'm going to be uncomfortable, so I can get more comfortable with that. Now that might be calling your watered down SOI, people you don't know and don't know you by name, so you can add them to your SOI. So again, create a time card, create a goal, create a time card for work so that you can start getting more uncomfortable to get more comfortable. I'm going to show this calendar again one last time just to show you that green means money. As you can see, the green is focused in the morning. You deserve a lunch break. You deserve a break. But I'm going to tell you, be on time. All right? Start your day off right. Get your mindset right. This has definitely got a problem up here, and it's your mind, and it will mess with you, and it will hold you back from getting uncomfortable. So first step first, get your mindset right in the morning. I start out in the morning with a workout and prayer time. That's me. I love God. I'm thankful that God's led me where I am today, and that's Sean Cardoza. I love my prayer time. I love my Bible time in the morning, and if I miss it, I miss a lot because my whole day starts getting messed up. So I start out a bit early. I get up about 5:45. I didn't used to do that. But then I realized the more my mindset was right and ready, the better I am for my people, the better I am for my family, and for the people I coach and help. So I start off early with a prayer time. And then also, as you see right here, watch one ICC video module. It doesn't matter what training platform you go to, highly suggest ICC, Eisenhower Coaching and Consulting. But what it matters is that you are feeding your brain with some sort of content for the day. Now, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. Every single day you need to be training, because every day you train, you're adding new tools to your tool belt. Like a carpenter has all the tools in their tool belt. I come from an electrician background. My dad's an electrical contractor, retired now. But he always had a tool belt, and in there he would have different tools for his trade. So you're constantly adding tools in your tool belt each day. So start your day off right with some sort of workout, or yoga, or meditation, or whatever it is your your gig, but get your mindset right and do some sort of training. I like to get it done early. I do it during a workout. The workout makes me do training. The training makes me do workout. I always have a headset in my ears, always one close by, headset. I'm ready to train and get my day started. Followed by some sort of prepare for your lead generation day. So that's the next scheduled task. And this one here shows 8 a.m. in the morning. All right, so prepare for my day, lead generation, time to get started calling people, get prepared, because guess what happens at 8:30? Right away, my calendar started and I got to get to work on time. Because just like if I showed up at Lowe's or Home Depot or McDonald's or packing shed or wherever it is I come from, if I don't show up on time, I might get fired. So you got to fire yourself sometimes, guys. You got to fire yourself because you will fail this. So make sure you start on time and make sure your calendar is specific to what your plan is to do that day. I don't suggest just putting lead generation from 8:30 in the morning until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Okay? I don't suggest it because you don't have a specific thing you're going to do during that lead generation time. And every week you got to look at your calendar and make sure you're specifically, strategically have each day set up. I suggest every week that you're looking at it. So here it says 10, 10, 5 and A and W's, all right? So A's, last name of A, and last name of W's I'm going to be calling or doing social media marketing to those people. And like I said, later we'll talk about lists, creating lists and how you do that, and make sure you have a pretty structured schedule in there. I'm going to take a little break here. I mean, depends on where I go from here. I'm going to take a little break, prepare, might use the restroom, might do whatever I need to do, grab a quick snack, update my coffee, get a little more coffee, whatever I need to do. Then I need to get back to work. Guess what? So now I'm going to find 20 people to check in with, simple phone calls, right? Simple. If you find out your distant cousin bought with someone else, you're going to be really mad because you didn't do the task that needed to be done to make that happen. And it was very simple. You just didn't want to get uncomfortable so you could be more comfortable. Now I'm going to make more SOI calls, and I'm going to do, this has also got a name. It's called DTD2. You can look it up on social media. It was created by, I believe it was a Keller Williams agent quite a while back. And DTD2 just specifically helps you structure your contacts you're going to make so that no letter of the alphabet gets left behind. It's real easy to get started with lead generating and A's, B's, C's, D's, but guess what? How often are you going to catch up and get down to the Y's and Z's? In this case, we're kind of spreading the alphabet out, and there is a percentage base likely that people have a name that ends with our first letter is T, J of the last name. So there is a strategic process to this. So look it up if you want to research a little more about it. But basically, I'm going to make my calls to T's and J's. Now, we talked about the CRM. What are you doing with your CRM? What are you doing with it? Well, your CRM should always be open on your computer screen when you're making these calls and doing this work. Here's a suggestion. Create mission control in your office. Don't be working off an iPad. Don't be working off your cell phone. Don't work off your cell phone. Again, don't work off your cell phone. I hope I nailed that home. If you're doing social media marketing, don't work off your cell phone. It's not work, it's play, okay? Work off your computer desktop. I say mission control because if I was to show you my screen right now, you would see I have 3 screens up right here. I know people that have 4, some up 6 screens, mission control, right? I have 3. I have 2 big screens, 2 wide screens, and I have a laptop that I'm able to take from office to office, depending on what office I'm working at, because I work multiple states. Plus, if I'm traveling via air, I've got my laptop, I can work in airports. So everything is on my laptop, high producing laptop, great laptop, and it has docking stations I plug into multiple screens. So I have my CRM up, I have my phone call dialer up. I also make calls through Google Voice. Google Voice has free phone number calling. Most CRMs have a phone number established. You can make calls through the CRM on your computer. You throw your headset in, connects to the computer. Now you're making phone calls through your computer. The CRMs will usually log that phone call. You just have to go in there now, put a note about what that call was, and guess what? Most important step is an alert of when you're going to call them again. This is one of the biggest failed things that happens on customer relation management systems is they don't set a time to call them again. You should be sitting down each day, and your CRM should look somewhat like this. Let me show you. Like this here. So it should look somewhat like this, where you have all these past dues that maybe were due yesterday or last week, and all these upcoming follow-ups you need to call. These won't pop up in here if you didn't choose to actually set it up by setting an alert in your CRM of when to call them again. So you've got to set an alert of when to call them again. Otherwise, your CRM isn't going to work for you. Your CRM should work for you. So that now all I do is sit down on my computer, I'll open this up, and I have all these people I need to call. I know I need to start here first on past calls, and then I'm going to go with the upcomings next. Then, guess what? Now I'm going to add new people to the database. Who did I talk to on those calls that gave me referrals to call again? So now I'm going to get in there and I'm going to add those in there. Call them, leave a note, and most important, set an alert when to call them again. Now your CRM's working for you. Every day you're sitting down. This will typically take about a good 6 months of lead generation before that wheel starts to turn. Because, like I said, a contact plan is typically every person in your CRM you should be calling every 6 months minimum, never more than 6 months. Actually, it should never be more than 1 month, but if it's an SOI, sometimes they're a close friend and you actually put it out 6 months and you move on to the next one. If they say they have somebody to refer to you or they are gonna buy, you move that timeline up all the way up to tomorrow, depending on how soon they're gonna buy again. But you have to put an alert on the CRM to call them tomorrow so that your CRM alerts you that you need to call somebody. This is how you don't get caught up in the whirlwind. The whirlwind is a serious thing. The whirlwind is a true serious thing. And if you let yourself get caught up in this whirlwind of life, you will find yourself later on having nobody to call, no business. When the market shifts or changes, you're going to find yourself getting lazy. Don't be lazy. Here's the deal. Think about this. If you have 3 hours of lead generation you do a day, which I would say that should be the minimum. Yeah, that should be the minimum. That's 15 hours of work a week. That's it. What job can you ultimately make really good money at working only 15 hours a week? Because I don't know if you noticed on my calendar, but my calendar has lag measures. That's also a Franklin Covey 4 Disciplines of Execution term. You don't focus on the lag, you focus on the lead always. We want lag, we do. The lag is, I got a buyer. They're pre-qualified or I'm getting them pre-qualified. The lag is, I'm out showing houses to a qualified buyer. The lag is, I got a listing active on the market. There's a time in the day to work that. Are you the professional or are you the amateur? Because professionals have schedules. And if I've got lead generation from 8:30 in the morning till 11:30 at night, and somebody calls me, one of those lag measures, one of those that's already in the pipeline, one I'm already working, guess what? I'm in an appointment. I'm lead generating. This is my appointment time. I don't let anything shake me. Okay, but then the lead measures, once they're done, the lag measures have a time of the day they work. They're crazy important. That's why they're time blocked on your calendar to work them, right? But we don't want to let the lag ever get in the way of the lead, otherwise you won't have any lag, okay? This is how you structure your daily schedule. This is SOI 101, and I hope you learned something on this first segment.